Alright, so Dead Rising is a series, or I guess was a series, or I guess now even it'd be back to is a series, of games that take place during a zombie apocalypse. Well, not necessarily an apocalypse, I guess, but more so a zombie infestation or outbreak in like a contained area, but with as close to a realistic edge that you can get. You know, you're not going to be throwing your weapons into a machine in order to get them upgraded or drinking beverages to get better, or at least the first game is as realistic as can be. They do get pretty wild in the sequels, but from this realness comes the actual reality of the situation you're in. You're in a mall and you need to survive any way you can, so you go around picking up anything you can to kill the zombies with, whether it be something conventional like a bat or a gun to something unconventional like a bowling ball or even a freaking bench or a water gun if you really want to. But another realistic aspect about this game is how the people would react to this type of event happening. Seeing their friends, families, and neighbors get chomped down mercilessly by the zombie hordes. Most people would find themselves in the same shoes as Frank, trying just to survive with anything they can, which in-game translates to the survivor quests where you have to bring them back to the safe house. But some other people would just straight up not be able to handle the situation at all. They would break and just lash out on anything and everything, and they would just straight up kill whatever they deemed a threat, whether it be a zombie or just a regular human, or possibly even try to use the situation to leverage themselves, which in the game are the boss fights, the Psychopaths. But of course, this still being a game, they did have a bit of fun with what these Psychopaths actually were, which kinda leads us to the topic of the video. But before I do that, I need to do a bit of setup here, because although I have first in the title, Adam is not actually the first boss that you can encounter, or probably would encounter. No, he could actually be the second, third, fourth, or even possibly fifth psychopath that you encounter. But here's the thing, there is something different about these four first psychopaths that you can meet that separate themselves from Adam. The first psychopath that you can meet is Kent, who at the beginning of the game, or if you're even playing it for the first time, you wouldn't think is a psychopath, just a cocky photographic journalist. The second psychopath that you would most likely come across is the main bad guy himself, Carlito, but you wouldn't really think of him as psychopathic, more just plain evil, since he's cold and calculating and just firing at you with a gun. The third psychopaths that you would encounter are most likely the convicts, which involves them stealing a military vehicle, trying to run you over or shoot you with a giant gun, or the bad guy trying his best. But again, these are just escaped convicts causing mischief. Then finally we have the one that probably most people would miss on their first playthrough, which is Cletus, since the game doesn't tell you about him at all. And well, he's just a gun-toting redneck. Now here's the thing about these four first psychopaths. Other than Ken, you can look at them and say, yes, they look intimidating. The fact that they all have guns shooting at you and you're starting off at such a low level with such low health that you really don't know what to do. But although they look intimidating, can you actually look at them and honestly say that they're scary? I mean, this is supposed to be a zombie game. There has to be some horror elements here. And well, ask and you shall receive, in which not only does the mall itself lose all of its power, the zombies are getting much more aggressive at this time of night. That's when the game slaps you in the face with the following mission, Out of Control, in which Otis calls you up to tell you that the Space Rider coaster in Wonderland Plaza is still going, which means you have to go out there and shut it down. But then, of course, that brings up the question, why is this roller coaster running? That's when you decide to investigate the situation, and thus upon entering the coaster and trying to shut it down, you meet him.
Everyone used to laugh at me. I was a walking punchline. But not anymore. When the zombies came, everyone died. on this fun ride. I won't let you stop the ride, Gramps. If the ride stops, then the zombies come back. And that won't be any fun at all.
And it's at this moment that everyone playing this game collectively shit their pants. But seriously, oh man, is there a lot to unpack here. To start off, he's a freaking clown. Just about everyone finds clowns scary. But how does Capcom decide to up the ante? They decide to give him 2 miniature chainsaws. Chainsaws that he has so much ability with that he's just juggling them without even trying. And then to top it all off, he's been killing people with the ride, which, as fast as that thing was going, is not a great way to go out. And I would imagine he would do to Frank as well if the chainsaws didn't get him first. And he's just laughing the whole way through. There is no better portrait of a man who has truly lost it, and Frank knows that he must be put down. So as the boss fight starts, your first instinct is to probably get as far away from him as possible, and just try to whittle down his health with using a gun. But of course, he can use his chainsaws to deflect the bullets. So now you're realizing I have to get up close and personal with this guy. Him and his dual-wielding death machines while all I got is a freaking baseball bat. And not to mention the other weapons of his arsenal, like throwing knives or a balloon that he fills with, I don't even know what, but whatever it is, if it hits you, it stuns you for a bit. And not to mention his ability to shoot fire out at you, because of course he can do that. And then on top of all this, all the while, he's just jumping around doing acrobatics. And you're just cowering in the corner trying to answer Otis's call. But eventually you get a handle on things and realize, oh, that stuff that he puts in the balloon can stun him as well. And so because of this, you're able to take out good chunks of his health and eventually knock him out. But of course, he isn't going out on your terms. And thus a no more fitting ending of him being hoisted by his own petard, and laughing all the way to hell. But although he is gone, he definitely will not be forgotten, as he truly was a gateway drug into the wild and wackiness that this series provided, combined with the genuinely terrifying moments that it also housed. From cult leaders and freaked out Vietnam vets, to a man who will do anything to protect his store. Yes, you have successfully entered the bizarre world of the Dead Rising series, as this trend would continue on into the sequels, with some highlights including you going up against a child store mascot, a crazed mailman, a rematch in the form of going up against Adam's brother, you fighting off a human garbage disposal, and I'll even be nice to the 4th game and say how you go up against an evil Santa Claus. And we all wouldn't be properly introduced into this world if it wasn't thanks to one certain clown. Can't wait to see how they handle him in the remake.